All right, folks, here we are doing the best BBCOR bat for 2021 so far. Now, usually this time of year, we would have all the BBCOR bats. We would have seen them at the College World Series. We would have hit with them, had all our reviews out. But it's, the COVID year is insane. So in any event, what we're doing now is we're taking the 9 BBCOR bats that we do have, and we're just going to do a real simple, so far kind of test. We will eventually, when we get all of them, we're missing bats like the CF from DeMarini, the Quattro, which, those are always really fun hits in the BBCOR space. We're also missing a bat like the Omaha, and then Easton has a couple as well that we're missing. So we're going to get those bats and do our big test, right? But in the meantime, we're going to do just as so far. We're basically taking 3 hitters. We're going to hit the 10 BBCOR bats that we do have, and we're going to do a real simple way to decide which bat is best. We're going to take the top 2 exit speeds, take the average of each bat, and then rank them from 10 to 1 based on how many bats we have. Actually, sorry, we only have 9 bats. So from each bat first place will get 9 points, last place will get 1 point, right? And so we'll add all those things up, and then we'll see what bat is best. We also will give an extra point. For each hitter, we'll be able to assign an extra point to the bat they liked the most. So if they liked a certain bat the most, we'll give that 1 extra point, see if that changes it. That might be fun. Also, if the average exit speeds are super close, right? So like within let's say 0.4 miles an hour, we're going to count those as tied. So if I get 86.4 and 86.8, we're going to count that as first place, and they'll both get the same amount of points. So anyways, that's the little rules of our game, and we'll have fun trying to figure out the best BBCOR bat so far of 2021. Your bats, you get to give one of the bats an extra point in the totals of our best BBCOR bats for so far. What do you give? Which bat do you give the extra point to?
I don't know. Is it just based off feeling or like how hard I think
Just
I hit it?
just what you think you like the best.
I think I liked the Meta the best.
Meta power or just basic normal?
Just basic. If it hit it harder or not, it just feels a lot better off the bat for me at least. So.
All right.
Yeah.
We'll give it the extra point. What were the favorite of the 2021 BBCOR bats you hit so far?
I'm gonna go with the goods, 2021 goods.
In terms of just feel?
feel. I like the balance of it. Grip's good. I just like it a lot.
So you give your points to the goods.
Yeah.
Okay, so we caution again. Remember, every time we do exit speeds, we always sort of have to give a little bit of understanding to the fact that heavier bats tend to do better in the cage, right? We've talked about that a lot on the channel. Heavier bats do better. Doesn't matter who it is because they can always time it better, right? That said, this is what we did. And by the way, I give my point to the Bonesaber. I just love that handle. I think it's fantastic. That's my bonus point, all right? That said, we took all those numbers, we added them up, numbers in our spreadsheet. You can find that in a link in our YouTube video. So go to our YouTube video and click on that link. You can also find the stuff on our site, the full data set under our exit speed sections. We're not going to bore you to death by going through every one of those, but basically that's what we did. We sorted every bat by the top 2 exit speeds. We ranked them. We gave them top points if they did the best, almost no points if they got the worst, right? So out of 10 bats, the best one would have got 10, worst one would have got 1. However, lots of bats tied because we did that margin of error of about 1 mile an hour. So if you were within a mile an hour, we rounded to the nearest whole number, and then you got the full points because of that, is how that worked. So we did end up having a tie, actually, but it's still sort of fun to look at. And there's lots of ways to look at the data. This is one way. If you go in there and goof around with data, you'll realize, oh, there's a million ways to splice this to say, oh, this bat was better, that bat was better. End of the day, though, get ready for this. Of all the BBCOR bats that we tested for 2021, the difference in the average of the average best 2, if that makes any sense. So we took the average of everybody, the top 2, we averaged those out, was 84.5 to 86.5. That's the lowest to the highest. So there you go. 2 miles an hour, folks. Do we think that's a legitimate 2? Yeah, for this specific test, we think that's a legitimate 2. And hey, that's 10 feet. That's a reasonable number to say, hey, I'd rather have that bat. 10 feet means a lot to me, maybe even 12 feet if you hit the right angle. But we're talking 2 miles an hour, guys. BBCOR standards have leveled the playing field, no doubt about it. Not to go off on a tangent, but whenever we hear someone say this, especially BBCOR bats, oh, this bat it's so hot, it's gas, it's whatever. I just think, sure, they're all gas. I mean, there's no way a BBCOR bat is better than another BBCOR bat in the top echelon of bats by more than a mile an hour or 2. It just isn't true. But the truth is most BBCOR bats perform really, really, really similar. Maybe a little bit of difference in performance, but nothing that we think is very perceptible. And whenever somebody says, oh, this bat is so hot because it felt good or it looked like the ball flew high, love you to death, but we don't think that's the kind of person watching our channel, by the way, which is fine. And if you are, great, more power to you. But that's just not how we roll. We've just seen enough data to be like, meh, that's not true. It's just most BBCOR bats are really, really similar. So anyways, off the soapbox. All that stuff, we put down the swing weights here that you'll see just fine. And the number 1 bat, we don't know what we think about this, honestly. The number 1 bat right there. See it? The B5, baby. The B5, hoorah. That's cool, right? The B5 won. But also, remember, guess what bat is the heaviest? The Meta Power. The Meta Power is the heaviest bat. But the second heaviest bat is actually the B5. Hot Metal from Mizuno, a bat you guys have never even thought about. But the Hot Metal from Mizuno was actually smoking. One of the hitters, fastest one they did was with the Hot Metal. In fact, if you make the data a different way and you just look at averages of averages and things like that, the Hot Metal actually is really good. Bats like the Meta and the Bonesaber, and then it goes Nox, Cat 9, and Meta Power. Maybe the Meta Power was too heavy for some of our hitters, so it got some low hitting, some low numbers. Well, that means all those bats are really good, and we still think you should focus on finding the right swing weight, not necessarily finding the one that has the top exit speed, because they all probably have pretty good exit speeds in terms of player preference. They like the feel of the goods, they like the feel of the Meta, and they like the feel, I guess I like the feel of the Bonesaber. And they're all right in there. They're all within a couple miles an hour, and the middle half of that up is even, within a mile an hour. It's probably just test variability. Hopefully you find that somewhat helpful. And for sure, when we get to the point where we have more BBCOR bats, we'll do this again. And we're going to do a much more robust data set that you can actually get on our site. But we'll talk about that and do another video and things like that when we compare them all together. But in the meantime, if you got to go buy a 2021 bat right now, looks like B5? Really? You're going to pay that much for a single piece of aluminum bat? Ugh, that's hard. That's a hard pill for me to swallow. I'll be dead honest. Fun bat, but come on now. The goods is on there. Of course, the goods is on there. The Cat 9 Connect, the Bonesaber, baby. The Meta, I don't know. They're all good. Is that a terrible thing to say? As the bat review channel, you're supposed to be like, this is the best, buy this. But it's just not true. I mean, if we're just being honest with you, they're all just kind of good, It's just a function of feel. And there's definitely some a little bit better than others in terms of performance. But at the end of the day, that's your best BBCOR bats for 2021 so far.